these spreads before it's too late. Welcome, football fans and gridiron gamblers, to your Week 3 early NFL best bets. I'm Money Mitch. This is the new Money Mitch NFL betting and fantasy football channel. And every week, I break down my favorite early leans here on the channel. Last week, 7-1. 7-1. We made some money last week. This week, we're looking to repeat week 2. If that sounds good, Gronk, spike the like button. Don't be a jabroni and subscribe. We're looking to hit 1,000 subscribers. It's the goal. The new channel. Let's get it monetized, man. So join the journey. Join the 2025 money-making season here on the debut, the first ever season of Money Mitch. And let me know in the comments your best bets for week 3. Let's go. Let's break down the games that stand out to me, that entice me the most. And we have plenty that I'm looking at, okay? Let's kick it off. The first game I want to discuss is a primetime game. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Giants. This game, I believe, is on Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs are favored by 6.5 on the road in New York. I kind of like the Giants with 6.5. Early in the week, I liked the Giants against the Cowboys last week. Too many points. Do we know that the Chiefs are better than the Cowboys? I'm just going to throw that out there. Do we absolutely know that the Chiefs are better than the Cowboys in terms of laying a big number? Like, think about it, right? The Chiefs don't have an offense. They can't run the ball. What's the weakness of the Giants? It's really their run defense, in my opinion, on defense. Their secondary, too, is a bit spotty. Okay, let's break that down for a second here. The Chiefs literally cannot run the ball unless it's Patrick Mahomes running. And it's going to be difficult to do that when Abdul Carter and Brian Burns are on the edges. They're both way faster and way quicker than Patrick Mahomes. Good luck. Second, the Chiefs just can't run the ball. Pacheco, Hunt, other than short yardage, occasionally they can pick that up. Kareem Hunt just bowling balls his way to a first down. But actual efficiency, it's not there. They don't even want to try. The Cowboys have a very good offense. Like, they made the Eagles' defense look a bit iffy at times. And the Eagles' defense is pretty good, right? The Chiefs, on the other hand, right, they have no weapons. Like, none. Travis Kelce can barely catch. He's old. He's slow. Not worried about him. I actually really liked how Phillips played for the Giants. I think he's a sneaky good corner. Javon Holland in the back end, not giving up those big bombs down the field, most likely to Tyquan Thornton. Like, CeeDee Lamb is a problem. George Pickens is a problem. There's nobody like that on the Chiefs. Give me a break. And the way that both quarterbacks are playing, is it crazy to say that Dak is not better than Mahomes right now? And is it crazy to say that the offensive line of the Cowboys has not played better than the Chiefs' offensive line? You know, like, you look at the Cowboys in Dallas. That's a team that can explode on you. They can score points. If they had half a defense against the Giants, they probably cover that game more often than not, right? If they didn't allow so many easy downfield throws with broken coverages, and the Cowboys could have lost to the Giants, which is a point in favor of the Giants. Like, the Giants very well should have beat the Cowboys. They had multiple chances in overtime. They had opportunities where early in the game, they settled for field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. They didn't take advantage of the early quick start that they had. And Russell Wilson played spectacular for like 90% of that game. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, the Chiefs laying 6.5 is just way too many points. On the road on primetime against a great pass rush. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence. And I know that the pass rush has been spotty so far. but they're going to create pressure, and the Chiefs don't have vertical threats besides Tyquan Thornton, who isn't all that special. Hollywood Brown is pedestrian. Their entire receiving core is pedestrian. They have no run game. They can't really take advantage of the weaker secondary of the Giants. They can't take advantage of the weaker run defense of the Giants because they can't run the ball. So I just feel like if the Giants can get a bit of pressure on Mahomes and can contain him in the pocket, like, they're going to be okay. They're going to be fine because they don't have to face CeeDee Lamb. They don't have to face Jaden Daniels in the Commanders' offense. They face 2 top 10 offenses. The Chiefs are not a top 10 offense, guys. And on the other side, again, Russ is coming off a great game. And Malik Neighbors, man, is he good. I mean, he's awesome. Wan'Dale Robinson can also separate and get open. We saw Darius Slayton hit some big plays downfield. I don't expect the Giants to be able to score a ton of points here, but it's prime time, at home, getting 6.5, season on the line essentially for both teams. If either team loses this game, they're toast. So the Giants are going to come out all out. The Giants' offense looked good, explosive. Russell Wilson's going to be able to hit some plays downfield against really any defense. He just takes his chances and his shots downfield. They're going to blitz Kansas City, and Russ is going to hit and connect on some of these plays. And it's not like the Chiefs have an overwhelming pass rush. The Giants' offensive line actually played pretty well after they took Hudson out of the game with 4 penalties on the first drive. They played pretty well against a pretty similar pass rush of the Cowboys. The Cowboys actually have more depth and more talent than the Chiefs. The Chiefs have 2 guys, Karlaftis and Chris Jones. The Cowboys have Adigi Zua, Kenny Clark. Like, they've got that D-tackle duo, but then they've got also, like, external threats like Dante Fowler, etc. So it's not all too different here. The Chiefs have better corners, but you can take advantage of their safeties. So I just don't think the Chiefs are very good. I don't think they're explosive enough to be laying 6.5 against almost any team with any level of respectability, with a team that has as much talent of a pass rush as the Giants at home. Right? The Giants have played on the road 2 weeks in a row. They played the Commanders in Washington. They played Dallas in Dallas. Now they get the home crowd, the home environment in prime time with the pass rush. That is going to be a multiplier. So I just feel like this is ridiculous. Maybe I'm totally off. Maybe the Chiefs hammer the Giants. But I just don't see how that happens unless Russell Wilson sucks and they turn the ball over multiple times. Because it's not going to be the Chiefs' offense that makes it happen, because Mahomes isn't playing that well. He's not throwing the ball that well. Their passing game is not good, and they can't run the ball. So I like the 6.5. Maybe I'm delusional. Next, let's talk about the New England Patriots getting 1.5 points at home. Now, we took the Patriots last week. Yes, the Patriots are my team. And as I will say every week when I ask you, not even ask, I'm not asking, I'm giving you an option to bet on my team. So I will say, take it with a grain of salt. But the New England Patriots are at home. I think they are better than the Steelers. Like, I have them ahead of the Steelers in my power rankings, okay? They are a better team. Straight up. The Steelers beat the Jets barely and probably should have lost. The Jets just got absolutely obliterated by Buffalo. They didn't look like an NFL team the next week. The Steelers just lost by 3 scores to the Seahawks. 3 scores maybe? Maybe it was only 2. It was 31-17. Regardless, they lost by 2 touchdowns, okay? And yeah, there was that weird special teams touchdown in there. But the Steelers didn't look like they were ever really going to win that game. The only reason they were really in it was turnovers, blocked field goals, like missed field goals, like weird stuff, right? And Sam Darnold sliced them up. He had like 300 yards. Kenneth Walker ran for 100 by himself after doing nothing against the 49ers. The Patriots went to Miami, a house of horrors, and withstood a really good performance by the Dolphins offense to even a special teams touchdown. And there could be possibility that finally Christian Gonzalez comes back, their best player on their team. That's a possibility. But even if he doesn't, the Steelers probably have the worst offense that the Patriots have played so far. They have no run game whatsoever. Like, their run game is not there. And the Patriots have a very good run defense so far this year. They're one of the 5 best run defenses in the league. They're also complemented by the leading sacking team in the NFL. So the Patriots have had major issues in the secondary. They've had major issues covering down the field. But they get pressure. They have 9 sacks, which leads the NFL. Harold Landry, Milton Williams have been spectacular. There are 2 pickups in free agency. And their run defense is really good. So on early downs, they should be able to take care of Jaylen Warren, take care of the run game. They're playing an offensive line in the Steelers that I think they can definitely get after Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is not elusive. Aaron Rodgers is not moving from his spot, right, very often. And they should be able to collapse that pocket, get interior push from Barmore and Milton Williams, one of the best D-tackle duos in football, and they've showcased that so far this year. And that's going to really affect Aaron Rodgers, his accuracy, his placement of the ball, his feel for pressure. That's not going to be good. The Steelers do not have Tyreek Hill. They do not have Jalen Waddle. They do not have Devon Achane. They do not have Brock Bowers, right? They don't even really have Jacoby Myers. They have DK Metcalf. But Carlton Davis is a great matchup for DK Metcalf because he's very physical, and that's kind of what you need against DK Metcalf. Otherwise, the Steelers are a bunch of screen passes, and that's about it. They don't have much to go on. Calvin Austin, Marcus Jones, that's kind of an ideal matchup for the Patriots corner who's like 5'8". He's quick and fast, but he's not tall. He gets mossed regularly by bigger receivers, but Calvin Austin is tiny, so I wouldn't be worried about that. I think the Patriots defense at home here is a great matchup for the Steelers offense. They haven't played great in the first 2 games. They've given up a ton of passing yards, but the 2 areas where they've been very effective, run defense, pass rush. Those are areas where I feel like they can dominate this game against Pittsburgh's offense. So yes, the Steelers will get plays down the field probably. If Gonzo's there though, that might be eliminated. So that would even tilt it further to the Patriots. But I think in those other areas, they will make their plays. On the other side, the Steelers defense has been dreadful. The Steelers defense has been really bad. And that sounds weird to say because that's not usually the case. Their pass rush, in my opinion, has been very, very subpar for their standard. TJ Watt is not playing that well, and they're not getting pressure, right? Seattle doesn't have a particularly good offensive line. On the road, that's a little worrisome that they were able to go into Pittsburgh and put up nearly 300 passing yards. Sam Darnold was able to sit in there and make plays down the field, right? Justin Fields had maybe the best passing game of his career, and they barely got pressure on him. Breece Hall went crazy in week 1. Kenneth Walker went crazy in week 2. The Patriots did improve their run game in week 2 with Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson, Travion Henderson, a 3-headed monster. Drake May is low-key a really good player. Drake May might be the quarterback that you're wanting to bet on right now from here on out because he's the quarterback that is most, incorrectly priced in the market. He's more of a top 10 quarterback than he is closer to 20 through 30. Last week, he was maybe the best quarterback in the NFL. He can move, he can scramble, he can extend, he can run, he can get away from pressure, and he can make big throws down the field. And he's going to be able to expose, I feel like, a pass defense that has not been great, especially against play action so far this year. The Patriots will lean into that with Josh McDaniels and Drake May. And Jalen Ramsey's been playing well, but I just feel like their safety position is not good. Deshaun Elliott's been hurt. I think the Patriots are the better team. They're at home. They're getting 1.5 points. I think their pass rush has been better than the Steelers. Their offensive line played well against Miami, which is not a bad pass rush, like Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Chop Robinson. They're not terrible, especially in Miami. And again, Miami's been a really tough place for the Patriots to win over the years. I know it as a fan. I think this is a good bet. I don't understand why the Patriots aren't favored at home. They have the better quarterback. They have the better overall team, I believe. So I'm going to take the Patriots here to win this game. Give me the 1.5, but I just take the money line. Next up, you got the Jets at the Buccaneers. This is a consideration. The Bucs -7 at home. Now, I don't like how many injuries the Bucs have, and this will be something that you have to look into. But they are at home, which I think is a big factor. And Justin Fields could be out. Tyrod Taylor could be the quarterback for the Jets, which that might not be a huge downgrade, but the big factor of the Jets offense is the running game, right? And no one is running the ball on the Bucs. Like, you might get a player or two, but that's about it, right? Like, you got Levante David, Vita Vea, like, they don't allow you to run the ball. And I've seen Todd Bowles play Justin Fields before. If he starts, it's going to be a disaster. Todd Bowles is going to blitz him from every angle imaginable, and Justin Fields simply doesn't have the brain to process it. He's going to get sacked, he's going to hold the ball, he's going to get stripped, and it's going to be a disaster. Like, I just already know. The Bucs know that the only guy they can throw to is Garrett Wilson. And actually, McCollum and Dean have played pretty well so far this year, and they're healthy in the secondary right now. Winfield looked great against the Texans, in my opinion. And I just feel like if Tyrod Taylor's the quarterback, that takes totally away from their run game. It makes them way more one-dimensional, which is scary because I don't know how much else they can really lean on. Tyrod Taylor is extremely conservative. And Justin Fields, if it's him, I feel like rather he'll be hindered, he'll be slowed down, or at the same time, especially with a concussion, I don't know if he's going to be able to process what Todd Bowles is bringing at him from a blitzing perspective. So I really like the defensive matchup for the Bucs in this game, specifically at home in their building. On the other side, I just feel like Baker Mayfield, again, this year is way better than people give him credit for. He was really good against, in my opinion, maybe the best defense in football. He didn't have Chris Godwin, didn't have McMillan, Wirfs is out. They were missing multiple linemen throughout the day that left, that came back. I think the offensive line is exceptionally well coached. I will say that. And they still were able to move the ball fairly well, especially in key moments against the Texans on the road in Houston. And their run game looked pretty damn good. I feel like you can run the ball against the Jets. I think they're going to lean on Bucky Irving, lean on Rachaad White, run the football. You can run on the Jets. We saw that with the Bills. They manhandled them. The Jets are not a very good run defense. They've struggled with that for the last couple of years. They do have some pass rushing threats like Quinnen Williams and like McDonald, right? But I think between Baker making the savvy scrambles, Mike Evans, Cade Otton, Emeka Ibuka from the slot, their screen game, I think they have enough in the pass game, coupled with a strong running game, coupled with a good defensive matchup where the Jets want to run the ball and the Bucs are really good against the run. This is just a really good football matchup, in my opinion, for Tampa Bay. Now, pay attention to the injury report. That's a huge factor, but I like the Bucs here. Especially if it gets under 7. If it's at 6.5, 6, I like the Bucs. That could happen. I don't think it will get much higher than 7, though, in my opinion. I honestly feel like Tyrod and Fields are probably pretty, close. I feel like, actually, Tyrod is probably a better passer against a team like Tampa, but Fields is just more of an athletic threat. So that's where I'm leaning right now. Next, we have the Rams at the Eagles in Philly. I would take the Rams here. This is not 100% a bet, but I do feel like this is worth discussing. The Eagles so far have not looked like the team that we saw last year, and the Rams right now feel like the sleeping giant of contenders. We're not really talking about the Rams because they've played Tennessee last week, and they played Houston in a game where it just felt like a lot of people weren't really watching that game. And it was kind of an ugly game, right? But that happens with the Texans. Like, every Texans game is ugly because their defense is awesome and their offense is not, right? But the Rams, they, to me, are a top 5, top 6 team in the NFL. I feel like they're an NFC contender. I think the Rams have the better quarterback in this matchup. Matthew Stafford looks outstanding through 2 games. Absolutely sensational. And they also have the better coach. Sean McVay is better than Nick Sirianni. The Rams easily could have beaten the Eagles in the playoffs last year. It was a very close game. The biggest problem with the Rams matchups last year against Philly was their run defense. Now, that still might be a problem. That still might be a flaw that's hard to overcome. But the Rams did try to fix it this offseason by signing Poona Ford. I do believe that his presence in the middle is going to make an impact, and it's going to help them defend the run. Another problem for the Rams could be missing Ahkello Witherspoon, their perimeter cornerback. That is something to pay attention to. But again, the Eagles have not looked good throwing the ball at all this year against a defense in Dallas that looked very suspect against Russell Wilson. And then against the Chiefs, who looked very suspect against the Chargers. Jalen Hurts had 100 yards against the Chiefs. 100. Like, that's not good. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they'll make a couple plays, but I don't necessarily know that Jalen Hurts is going to be slicing and dicing this Rams team. They have a very good pass rush. They do have, a front seven that should be capable if they're resorting to stopping the run. I feel like the Eagles just have not looked as explosive on the ground. Saquon has not quite been the same guy last year that he was last year. So I'm looking at the Rams, and I think that they can move the ball against the Eagles. I think that Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua are going to be a problem for the Eagles. And I do think that Matthew Stafford is just playing outstanding. And I just thought they had a formula for how to go about throwing the ball last year against the Eagles defense. And the Eagles don't have the same pass rush they had last year. Sure, Jalen Carter's awesome, but it feels like they just don't really have that same all-around dominant defense. It's a good defense, but I don't necessarily think it's terrifying. So, yeah, the Rams are on the road here. The Rams have been a little ugly-ish in the first couple of games, but they did finish strong against Tennessee. At a fundamental level, I like getting 3 in the hook with the better quarterback, the better coach, the better offensive team probably right now, and that's the Los Angeles Rams. If you can slow down Saquon, the Rams probably win this game outright. So I like the 3.5 here with LA. Next, the Falcons -5 at Carolina. This is maybe a trap game, a divisional foe on the road, but everything I've seen from the Falcons has been really impressive, and everything I've seen from Carolina, including watching them live in Arizona, has been depressing. The Panthers are pathetic. They're a very bad football team. They have multiple injuries on the offensive line, and that screams out to me because the Falcons' pass rush took advantage of an undermanned Minnesota offensive line on Sunday night. I think they had 6 sacks, something like that, right? The Falcons' pass rush looks very much improved with, how they're getting play out of James Pierce, Jalen Walker on the edges, those 2 rookies, how David Onyemata is playing this year, and all the role players, Leonard Floyd, etc. The Falcons are also getting good play out of a guy like Bowman, the rookie. He played really well. Their secondary is playing sticky. I feel like their defense, they played pretty admirably against Tampa, and then they also played damn dominant against Minnesota on the road. And Carolina, they have injuries on the offensive line. That's going to take away from their run game. That's going to put more pressure on Bryce Young. I'm pretty sure the Falcons have done pretty good against Bryce Young in recent history. And they really only have Teteroa McMillan. Everyone else is not a big threat. Leggett is legitimately the worst receiver in football. Hunter Renfrow is a short option, in the flat. It's not a lot of efficient plays that if you're throwing it to Hunter Renfrow 10 times. And AJ Terrell could potentially match up with McMillan and limit him enough, right? Jesse Bates is phenomenal, always due for a big play, and he's picked off Bryce Young multiple times, I feel like, in his career. So the Panthers don't really seem to get going offensively until defenses kind of concede yards, back off their coverage, play soft. The Falcons have played really well on defense, and I'm impressed by that unit. And offensively, Bijan Robinson is unbelievable. I mean, I think this is worth a bet just because Bijan Robinson is playing the Carolina Panthers run defense. This is worth a bet. At under 6, Bijan is spectacular. He looks like he's skating out there. He looks like Connor McDavid. This guy is unbelievable. His cuts, his feet are spectacular. Their run game looked great against the Vikings on the road. And Drake London is due for a bounce-back game. Kyle Pitts is playing well. He should be able to take advantage of these linebackers in Carolina. And Darnell Mooney, the full, availability for Michael Penix. And I've been impressed by Michael Penix. I think he's throwing the ball well. He's throwing the ball outside the pocket well. He's moving pretty well. I think the Falcons look pretty damn legit. I think this number is not high enough. I think the Falcons should be 7-point favorites. Yes, they're on the road. Yes, it's a divisional game. But nothing about the football makes me believe that the Panthers are going to turn this thing around. They looked horrendous for 3 out of the 4 quarters. And really, it was Kyler throwing a bad interception. It was the Cardinals playing super soft coverage. The Panthers getting an onside kick. Whenever the Cardinals defense actually tried, the Panthers weren't doing anything. So I think the Falcons win this game by margin. I just think they're substantially better here. And they have a really good matchup with Bijan running the football. Next, you've got the Detroit Lions and the Baltimore Ravens. I really like Baltimore here at home in a primetime game. This is Monday Night Football. Baltimore has a tendency to blow out teams, specifically NFC teams. Lamar has an exceptional record against the NFC throughout his career. I feel like he hasn't lost to the NFC in his career, or if he has, it's been like once or twice. And Baltimore, they're favored by under 6. We saw Detroit against another top 3 team in week 1, and they got dismantled. Now, it's a different matchup, but this is an equally difficult home field advantage. Baltimore is one of the most underrated home fields, in my opinion. Loud, rowdy. When that defense gets going, I feel like the fans really get into it. And I just feel like Baltimore's defense plays a lot better at home. I feel like their run defense is big, nasty, and really tough to run the ball on. And I think Detroit's going to struggle running the ball in this game. I feel like when you can't run the ball, if you're Detroit, it takes away from your ability to play action and put Jared Goff in comfortable down and distance and really protect Jared Goff, that's where Jared Goff thrives, is off play action in those comfortable down and distances with the ability to, hit those crossers, those downfield concepts to Jameson Williams, to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And when you look at Baltimore, I think that their week 1 was kind of an exception because Josh Allen is so good, right? Josh Allen makes so many plays off script. He makes so many plays like after the first read is gone, he hits the second, the third read. Like Josh Allen scrambles, he moves, he runs. And Baltimore's pass rush is pretty unathletic. They're rather slow. Jared Goff isn't moving around. Jared Goff isn't really, doing all that. And Baltimore does, if you're a pocket quarterback, they're very good at smothering receivers. They have good corners. Kyle Hamilton's awesome, right? Like they could match him up on Sam Laporta. They can match up Marlon Humphrey in the nickel spot on Amon-Ra. I just feel like Baltimore's a really tough matchup for Detroit's offense. And on the flip side, this is a terrible matchup for Detroit's defense, where Detroit likes to play man coverage. That's tough to do against the most athletic quarterback maybe in the history of football. Zay Flowers is just an absolute, quickness machine. Like, he's so hard to cover one-on-one because he's just so quick. Like, his routes, his ability to separate, it's going to be difficult. And I do feel like, whether it be Derrick Henry running the ball, you've got to try and stop that. Rashad Bateman down the field. DeAndre Hopkins has been making plays down the field. Baltimore on prime time against a legitimate foe and a legitimate opponent. This is one of those games that just feels like Baltimore gets an early lead and Baltimore makes a statement. They lost to Buffalo on prime time. Nobody watched them play the Browns. Harbaugh's going to have this team going hard. Harbaugh's going to have this team finishing this game, I believe. And I think this is a spread where a lot of people are going to bet on the Lions because they see 5.5. That's too many points for the Lions. I don't think the Lions are on the Ravens level. And the Ravens are at home. And the Ravens have a tendency to blow you out. So I like Baltimore here. Don't think this is a great matchup for Jared Goff. Don't think this is a great matchup for their defense against Lamar Jackson. I will take the Ravens. Next, Cincinnati getting 3.5 against Carson Wentz and the Vikings. The Vikings have a ton of offensive line injuries. Not a good idea. Carson Wentz holds on the ball too long. Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals pass rush actually made numerous plays against Trevor Lawrence. And they have just been making plays. Like, the Bengals defense has been making plays. They don't look great, don't get me wrong, but I think they're making opportunistic interceptions, sacks, key plays at the right time. And Jake Browning, if he does anything well, he's a good distributor. He doesn't hold on to the ball. He gets the ball out. So, the Vikings, they're going to blitz. They might confuse Browning every once in a while, but it's difficult to do that when you're looking to the perimeter and you're just taking advantage of one-on-one matchups. He's got Jamar Chase. He's got T. Higgins against one of the worst cornerback groups in football. Brian Flores can only do so much. I feel like Browning is just going to pick on those one-on-ones the entire game. That should be their game plan. And Browning's accurate. He's decisive. He's going to read it. He's going to rip it. He's not that bad. He's a solid quarterback. And, they have injuries in Minnesota on defense. Andrew Van Ginkel being a big one. Blake Cashman being a big one. I think this Vikings defense isn't at their peak. We saw the Falcons run the ball effectively on them. We also saw the Falcons pass rush really get after it. I feel like the Bengals could make some plays with their pass rush as well against Carson Wentz. I feel like the Vikings don't have a great running game. That's an area where the Bengals did give up some yards to the Jags, like ETN and Tootin did eat. But in week 1 against the Browns, they completely shut it down. So it could have been a Jacksonville has a really good run game led by Liam Cohen type deal. I don't think the Vikings really have a great run game. They don't have Aaron Jones. It's really only Jordan Mason now. And Mason is a solid power runner, but he's not explosive, right? So, and I'm not impressed by the Vikings' weapons. Like, Naylor makes a play every, 20 throws. Thielen looks washed. And really, it's only Justin Jefferson. And sure, Justin Jefferson could have a good game. But if the Bengals know it's only Justin Jefferson, are they really going to just let Justin Jefferson tee off? So basically what I'm saying is I'm taking a backup I've seen win with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins against a backup with a beat-up offensive line, a mediocre run game, and one receiver. That's basically what I'm saying here. I like the points. I think the Bengals can win this game. I remember a game of the Bengals, they had Jake Browning, and they beat the Vikings. I think it was in Cincy 2-3 years ago. It might have been 2023, and they beat the Vikings in that game. I kind of feel like it will be an exciting, fun game. I actually kind of like the over, too. I like the Bengals here. I just feel like with the backup situation, I know JJ has not been great, but I think a lot more people have not been looking at the situation in Minnesota right now. The offensive line's been inconsistent. The weaponry, the separation's been inconsistent. I think the Bengals, just their weapons, they can uplift a quarterback. So I'll give Cincinnati the 3 points, and I'll probably bet that. Next, Dallas getting a point at Chicago. Chicago laying points against a team as good as Dallas just doesn't make any sense. This is one of those that feels like a trap, and the only thing I can really say in Chicago's favor is that they're at home. Otherwise, Dallas is substantially better than Chicago in my mind. They have the significantly better quarterback. Dak Prescott might be playing as the 6th best quarterback in football. If we're really thinking about it, other than Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and maybe Baker Mayfield, Dak is playing as good, if not better, than anybody in the NFL. And Chicago's defense was absolutely shredded by the Lions. And a lot of it came down to they can't rush the quarterback. They have a really bad pass rush. And they can't cover those weapons with Jalen Johnson hurt. So Jalen Johnson is out. CeeDee Lamb is going to go crazy. George Pickens went crazy in that fourth quarter when they finally started to click between him and Dak Prescott. Jake Ferguson's playing really well. On the other side, you just got to count on Caleb doing Caleb things, holding the ball a bit too long. They don't have a running game to really take advantage of Dallas's lack of a run defense. I do feel like, if Deron Bland returns, that's a huge boost. The Cowboys had a ton of blown coverages, and sure, Ben Johnson might be able to take advantage of that. Caleb might miss one every once in a while. He's just an idiot. And honestly, the Cowboys are probably not going to let that happen again. A lot of what happened with the Giants was big plays, an absolutely elite wide receiver in Malik Neighbors, which Chicago does not have, just teeing off against Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs covering Rome Odunze is not quite the same problem because he's not as fast as Malik Neighbors. He's not as explosive as Malik Neighbors. Again, they don't have a real run game. And the offensive line, and they've been okay. But, the Bears are kind of a mess. Their quarterback's super overrated. Their pass rush is non-existent. Their secondary is injured. Dallas looks good. Dallas looks explosive. Dallas looks like they can score. Give me the team with a quarterback. Give me the team with an offense. Give me the team with awesome receivers. Give me the team that I think is a little underrated in their defensive line. And I like Dallas here to bounce back defensively in a Matt Eberflus revenge spot. And Matt Eberflus does know Ben Johnson well because he did face him multiple times a year in the NFC North. So there is familiarity there at the very least. He won't be tricked by Ben Johnson necessarily. So I like Dallas getting a point. I just think they're the better team by quite a wide margin, even if it looks like a trap or something like that. Next, we have the Washington Commanders, -3.5. I like the Raiders getting 3.5 here. This is another one of those that I don't know if the line is quite accurate yet because of the backup situation. Jaden might be playing. He might not be playing. Marcus Mariota more likely to play, it feels like. So don't necessarily go crazy on this. Maybe put a small bet in on the Raiders. But I wouldn't go crazy just because, like, I think the Raiders looked a lot worse than they are against the Chargers. I just feel like the Chargers are really that good. Like, I think the Chargers defense was phenomenal against the Raiders. They played spectacular. I thought they were great in the red zone. I thought third and fourth down, they're so well coached. Derwin James is fucking awesome. He locked down Brock Bowers, and that's like the only guy in football that can really do that. It's just a very unique matchup. It's a bad matchup, in my opinion, for the Raiders. And, I think Geno's a lot better than he looked, and I think people are going to overreact to that. I thought Genty actually played better in week 2, and I'm looking forward to seeing him week 3 against the Commanders, a team that I do feel you can run the ball on a bit better than the Chargers, a bit better than the Patriots the first 2 weeks. So Genty could have a coming out party. The Commanders don't have a great pass rush. The Commanders do have, I think an improved secondary this year. But if we learned anything from the Packers, I feel like you can take advantage with your tight ends, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. I feel like you can, the Raiders have underrated receivers. Jacoby's looked really good this year. Thornton and Tucker can make plays. Like I said, I think Geno has a bounce back. And the Raiders are really good against the run. So the thing that I've noticed so far with the Raiders is they did a great job against the Patriots run game, the Chargers run game. They held it to very marginal. And if you do have a backup quarterback in Marcus Mariota out there, if the run game is taken away to a certain degree, that's where I really feel like Marcus Mariota could be exposed on more pure drop back scenarios. And let's be honest, like, other than Terry McLaurin, this is not a drop back passing team. Debo has played well, but not exactly in a drop back setting, right? I kind of feel like the Raiders defense has played better than people give it credit for. It's played admirably. They are well coached. They will be prepared for this offense. And on the other side, I think Geno bounces back. I think Bowers has a bounce back. I think Genty gets it going. I think the Raiders are actually kind of underrated because people saw them embarrass themselves against the Chargers in a game where I just think the Chargers are good. Like, honestly, I think their defense is tough. So that's an interesting game. I kind of hope Jaden plays because then it might go up to like 6 or something like that. It might jump up pretty significantly to where we could get a pretty good number with the Raiders. But if he doesn't play, there's a lot of like unknown with Marcus Mariota. Those are our best bets or our early best bets for week number 3, guys. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Those are the games that I'm considering. Those are all the spreads that I think I really like. And I will narrow it down by Thursday or Wednesday night, depending on when I release my official best bets. But those are some games that, the more I talk about it, the more I like. So I think we're going to have a really fun week 3, another money week 3. Let me know your thoughts on my picks, where you agreed, where you disagreed in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. We're getting close to 1,000 subs. My second channel, looking to get that monetized. Really appreciate all the support. Really appreciate all the love so early on this new channel and hoping to keep it going all year long and beyond. Thanks for watching. It's Mitch. Peace.